Hello guys, today in this video I'd like to show you how to create a login GUI using MySQL database in Python Tkinter. So first of all, I'll create three packages here, and I'll do this using a OOP concept here. And first package name I'll write here front end, and the second package name I'll write here middleware, and the third package name I'll write here backend. At first, we'll do the front end part. We'll create one login GUI here. For that, I'll create one Python file here. This login. Okay. Now I'll call from. I'll create a GUI using Tkinter. From Tkinter, import all class login GUI. Okay. Now I'll just init def init self.root is equals to root. I'll give this root as a parameter in my function, and I'll call it here if name is equals to main root is equals to tk. I'll initialize the tk function tk here, and I'll give that as a parameter in my class, and I'll execute it using main loop here. Okay, well, I run it. Okay, this is my, I'll just write your current file. Okay, now I'll give the title of my GUI root dot title Hancie learning studio login. Okay, now I give the self dot root dot geometry. I'll give 500 x 400 width 500 and height 400. Okay, this is, I'll give there at of one title. For that, I'll make one frame. Okay, self dot root and bg equals to for now I'll give green as a color. Frame dot pack, I'll use a pack layout here, and the site equals to top and fill on both sides. For that, I'll write fill equals to both, and I'll set the height of my frame as a 60 for now. Okay, now I give the label inside this frame. For that, I'll write title label is equals to label, and label will be inside the frame, and label text will be login system, and I'll just set the font of my title. I'll give the font Times New Roman, and I'll set the size to 16. I'll set it as a bold for now, and I'll give this title at the center of my frame. So title label dot place relax equals to 0.5 comma rel y equals to 0.5 comma anchor equals to center. Okay, it will be at the center, and I'll just set the self dot root dot resizable width equals to 0 and height equals to 0. So it will be non-resizable. It will have the fixed width and height. Okay, now I'll give the label email label is equals to label. Okay, label self dot root, and text will be email, and I'll just set the font equals to Times New Roman, and the size will be 14. Okay, email label dot, I'll use here the place layout x is equals to 30 and y is equals to, for now I'll just set the 30 and 100. Okay, here it is. I'll use one field text into field. Email text is equals to entry self dot root, and font will be same. I'll use the same font size for each field now. Okay, now email text dot place, I'll push the x-axis to 200 and y same 100. Okay, for now I'll just give that much. I'll for level I'll give the x-axis 60. Okay, now password level is equals to level self dot root and text equals to password, and font I'll give the same font for this level also. Password level dot place, x-axis will be same for password, that is 60, and y-axis I'll increase by 50. That means I will add 150 for y-axis, and I'll see the changes for password level. Here it is for password. Now also password text is equals to entry self dot root, and font will be same for this, and say password text dot place, x is equals to 200 and y will be increased to 50, so I'll add 150 for password text, and I'll see the changes here. Okay, email and password. Now I'll add what button, login button. Here login btn equals to button self dot root text, the name of the button will be login, and I'll give the font same for this also, and I'll use login btn dot place, x is equals to 200 and y will be 200, and I'll see the changes for it. Okay, here it is. Now I'll create one database for it. I have already enabled my XAMPP here, and I'll go to localhost here for now. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, here it is. Now maybe I'll use this Hancie database, and here in Hancie I'll create one. Okay, I have already one database here, customer. Okay, I'll create here one test 720 table, test 720. Okay, for that I'll have one ID, email and password. Okay, ID data type integer, I'll length will be 10, and email barcode 255, and password I'll set password also 255, and this will be a primary key. Okay, save it. Okay, here it is test 720, and inside the test 720 I'll insert one data for it, and I'll use the ID 1 and email hancie@gmail.com, and I'll create one password 1234. Okay, here it is. Now I have one table test 720 in database name Hancie, and I have one email and password, that is hancie@gmail.com, and password 1234. For that I'll create my middleware part. Here I'll create customer library. Here I'll create one library. For that I'll set one class customer libs. Okay, def init and self dot id is equals to id, and self dot email is equals to email, and self dot password is equals to password. This will be same as we have it written in our database, id, email and password. Okay, for now I'll just say id is equals to 0, and email is equals to none, and password is equals to none. Okay, now I'll write the getter and setter for this three data type. Def get id. Okay, return self dot id, def get email, okay, return self dot email, def get password, return self dot password. Okay, this is my getter, and I'll say write again the setter for it. Def set id self dot id, and self dot id is equals to id. Okay, def set email self comma email, and self dot email equals to email. Def set password self comma password, and self dot password equals to password. Now I'll set the right to string for it. Def string return uh, 1 2 3 dot format self dot id comma self dot email comma self dot password. Okay, now I have my library. Now I'll write the code for the connection to MySQL database, and here I'll write the file name database. Okay, here I'll import MySQL.connector to connect MySQL database in Python, and here I'll import sys. Okay, now def connect. Now I'll write this code in try catch, try, pass, exec, pass, and finally pass. Con is equals to none. Here con is equals to MySQL dot connector dot connect, and inside this I'll write host is equals to localhost, and username equals to root, and password is equals to blank because I don't have any password, I have not set, and database name I have Hancie. Here I'll just set if any problem will occur, then that will go into exception. So here I'll set print error, and here sys.exe info. Now and finally I'll just return con. Now I'll just test this print connected here, and I'll call this function here connect, and I'll run it whether it shows connected. Okay, yes, my database has been connected successfully. Now I'll write another backend code here, that is login backend. For this I have to insert the database connection part here. So from the package name, from backend dot database import connect and import sys here. Now I'll just set def login, and I'll write this code in try, pass, accept, pass, and finally pass. Con is equals to none, and here I'll write the SQL statement for the login. SQL equals to select all from where? Select all from test 720, all from test 720, where email equals to %s and password equals to %s. Okay, now I have give one parameter in my function, that is id. For now I'll just give id. Okay, values is equals to id dot get email comma id dot get password. Okay, and here I'll say uh, result is equals to none. Okay, now what here I'll do, con is equals to connect. First I'll connect the database here, and I'll call the cursor. Cursor is equals to con dot cursor, and cursor dot execute. What I'll execute is SQL comma values. Okay, now I'll say result is equals to con dot fetch. No, not con. Cursor dot phase one. Okay, now I'll just close the cursor dot close, con dot close it. Now here write print error sister exe error. Here I'll just delete those variables that I have declared above. Del, first what I'll delete values, after that SQL, after that con, and I'll return result here. Okay, now I have three files: login, customer library, database, and backend to make my login system. And now here I'll give the logic def login logic. Okay, I'll just write a function name here. Now I'll just say here customer data equals to, I'll call this library customer leaves, here customer leaves, and I'll import this library. Okay, here it is. From middleware.customer library import customer leaves, and inside customer leaves we have three things, that is ID, email, and password. We'll pass here two things, that is email and password, to verify whether that email and password is correct or not. Email is equals to email text dot get. We'll pass those values that the customer has entered in email txt and password txt from this library to the middleware to the backend. Password is equals to password txt dot get. Okay, now after this we'll call this backend logic function. So for that result is equals to, we'll call the function name here login, and we'll import it from backend. Okay, inside there we'll send the parameter customer data, and if result is equals to true, okay, or we can say if result is not equals to none, because our default result value is none, and if the data will go inside here, and if it has something, that means that the result have some data, that means its default value is not none. So we'll say if result is not none, then what we'll say, we'll throw one message. For that we'll call from Tkinter import message box, and here below this just say message box dot show info is welcome. We'll just greet customer dot format, inside format we'll just say email txt dot get. Okay, if result is not equal, if result is none, then just we'll say else message box dot show error. So error. Okay, for that here we'll just say Hancie e-learning comma. Okay, now here I'll just say, here I'll just give the title of message box Hancie, and I'll just say incorrect email and password, and I'll connect this function to this login btm by using the command argument command login, not login, login logic. Okay, I'll check it whether it works or not. I'll just click on login and it says incorrect email and password. Now I'll use the correct one, nc@gmail.com and 1234. Okay, nc@gmail.com and then 1234, and it says welcome. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching my video.